Hello and welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host, Scott Minton, and today we're back in the Brock Bourbon Bar. We're having another mail call. This one's from Jack Daniels. I'll tell you what, we've been reviewing a ton of Jack Daniels lately.
We have. Their stuff's solid.
I mean, well,
it's been fun.
Well, first of all, I was really lazy, and I was supposed to try all that stuff like months ago. And then secondly, like these were like recent mail calls. So these are the most recent releases of the 10, the 12, and the 14-year Jack Daniels.
14 being the most recent.
Yes. Well, they're actually, these are all the most recent releases of each one of those batches.
Oh,
14
batches.
is the actual most recent release period, but the 10-year, this is batch 4, so this is, they literally are just hitting market. The 12-year is batch 3, and then for the 14-year, it is batch 1.
Okay.
These range from 97 proof on the 10-year to 107, which is...
Oh, I think that's a sweet spot.
That is the sweet spot for the 12-year.
Yeah.
And then for the 14-year, it looks like it's straight up just cash strength, 123.6.
Okay.
It has,
So-
I mean, from a color standpoint,
Yeah.
it's matching that.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
It looks like you guys hit that one a little harder than the rest of them.
Hey, and who at Jack Daniels do you
Oh,
have to thank for
I
setting
can,
out samples?
I can see the guilty party down there, Barbara.
I didn't pour.
sure. But I didn't pour it.
Damn.
Blah, blah, blah.
I didn't. Ask Nick.
Oh, hey, we know what that
Whatever.
means.
Whatever,
I
Barbara.
did do the pour.
Sure,
I'm
whatever.
sorry.
Way to take the blame, Nick. You're a good husband. I don't care what they say about you. By the way, our girl Serena that helped arrange the actual field
She
trip
was awesome.
and interview
Yeah.
with Chris and stuff. So she's a great gal. She helped us
Yeah.
out with these, and so that's what we're doing. So we're going to try these, give our solid opinion on these, and kind of go from there. And then we're going to do another episode probably later this week or maybe next week on. We're going to compare and contrast. Because Brian, you said you had one of the original batch 10 or 10-year, and then one of the original 12 years. So
Yeah. Yep. I think I've got a batch 2 and maybe the batch 1 of the 12-year.
yeah,
Cool.
So I'm excited to try these today, and then like we're gonna revisit those other ones and kind of compare and contrast later on.
It's a rough life.
It's hard. It's hard on the boulevard.
Well,
You know, somebody's gonna drink this whiskey. I guess I'll
Somebody's got to fall on the
volunteers tribute. You know,
Yeah,
in this
and-
situation.
sword. Fall on that sword.
Yep. I know. Drinking phenomenal whiskey for the pennies.
Yep.
Oh, this 10-year, the nose,
Oh, hey, what's the proof again on that 10-year?
97.
So to me, it's an art form when a whiskey that is less than 100 proof has a nose that gives you the, what was the movie? The O.
You know, the funny thing is that as I'm like second and third nose on this, I start getting that little tingle and the hairs kind of rise up on the back of the neck.
Just a little bit, but it's so mild that it's almost
Oh, I'm not saying it
electric.
in a bad way.
Yeah, it's
but
like
yeah.
electric feeling.
So usually when I think of JD, right, I think of banana, right?
Yeah.
This has a different fruit note
Yeah.
on it. Like, it's different. It doesn't remind me straight up of that banana nut bread or that banana pudding or any of those type of things. It's definitely got a different nose than your typical JD.
And they have taken a totally different stance towards the market. So for years, I think 2018 was their first distillery-only release with the little 375 bottles. Ever since they released a 10, a 12, and now a 14, they're hot. And yes, the Kois, those are beasts. As high as 147 proof for the highest one.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, that sounds about right.
And those are 375s.
Yeah,
And now, like their most recent release, I think is 124 and some change.
right.
So the fact that they released a 14-year that is close in proof to that's 24-ish thousand bottles.
Yeah,
They're on a mission.
yeah, 100%. But Chris kind of said that was kind of their path, right? Like
Yeah.
he wanted to create ingenuity out of the product that Jack Daniels was to what he's making it today. So I appreciate that aspect, and I really like the fact that they've made these different proofs. You got 97, 107, and then what I'm assuming is just straight up cask strength. Because why would you proof it to 126.3? That
Yep.
just seems like an odd ass number.
Yeah.
And I've read in 3 different places that they let the batch create the proof. And when they added enough barrels to the liking that they wanted, that was the proof that it came back at.
There's a lot of baking spice on the nose on this thing.
So throwing this out here because I let it set for a little bit, but my initial thoughts after the first couple of noses, I was almost getting like apricot preserves, not like fresh apricots, but like almost like preserves.
Yes, because like apricot, whichever way we all say it, it gives you the little tingle in the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Is it apricot or apricot?
I say
Now,
apricot.
now the other weird thing that I'm getting is that I almost get a weird charcoal undertone, and from going through that, I don't know, it just get this weird undertone nose that kind of happens.
So I'll say this: we're privileged.
Oh yeah.
The fact that we get to try their most recent
Look at
releases.
the legs on this bad boy.
I know.
Oh,
Sorry to interrupt you.
bad girl. Bad girl, what you gonna say?
What you gonna do?
No, the bad boy is gonna do. The bad girl is what she's gonna say. And I love that old number
Still counts.
7. I love that old number 7. There are new tricks that are being released all the time. Like this is like the note.
This is just like it's so different than traditional
I
Jack.
know.
It's not like it's got it almost like it's heavy rye. Like it tastes like a high rye bourbon, and we know it's not. We know it's 8488, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, you know what
Yes.
Jack Daniel's mash bill is.
I envision Chris listening to this, walking around like high fiving people. you just saying like, look how effing interesting our 10-year whiskey is,
Yeah.
and how it's also approachable,
Very approachable.
affordable.
Yeah.
Wait, so do we have price points for the 10-year?
I mean, yeah, wasn't it like $69.99 or $79.99? But the problem is you can't find them. I mean, like they're impossible.
No. Which again, kudos to them. Like they created their own market, and that their whiskeys now have a secondary place.
So much rich baking spice there.
Has anybody tasted it besides Nick? Because
I've tried it.
Oh, I have.
No, absolutely.
all right.
Absolutely.
I've already had my second pull.
Oh, I'm taking it. I'm going to take a
Agreed.
step back and give her a little taste.
Go ahead, give her
Good
give her
idea.
give her a
It's
little
about
lip.
time.
Now I'm
Put
getting
your tongue
kind of
in
like almost like a seasoned wood undertone in there, like that's on the roof of my mouth.
It is very oak forward. It's got some really rich like sweetness in there, but the baking spice is like woof. I mean, it's cinnamon, it's cardamom, it's got some heavy clove. I mean, it's got a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I even almost feel like maybe there's a touch of ginger in there.
And but it's like soothing and smooth.
Yeah.
It's not like, kind of harsh and sharp as those flavors hit.
Right. Right.
So we know that when we taste a food that's really good or a whiskey that's really good, you close your eyes, you kind of nod up and down, like So this also has like some of the maplewood filtration on the palate.
Okay.
It's got that sweetness. It's got a little bit of oomph in that. It's got a little bit of thickness to it. I don't know what the proper word is when a whiskey is a little heavy, but in a very positive way.
You've used the word heavy a lot today. We've been sitting
know.
around just kind of drinking and talking before we got on air, and you were talking about something else being heavy.
Because it is. It's got that. Well,
Are you talking like weight or viscous?
so viscosity.
Yeah, it's viscosity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the chew.
Yes. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. All right, I'm moving over to the 12 here. I'm gonna start nosing that. Y'all continue to drink on the 10 if you want.
I want to say something about the 10.
Absolutely,
Because
go
we
ahead.
were talking about the fruits. I'm almost in, it's kind of an odd one, but it's almost like a candied dry plum.
I don't know if I get plum.
I don't know that I'm
but
getting anything that dark.
Well, and I think that candied part is kind of covering it up a little bit, but it's got like that feel for me.
I could understand where you're coming from because that's how I got to the apricot preserves, because
Yeah.
I knew that it's not like raw, like you take a bite of it.
Yeah.
Or, it's not fresh.
Yeah.
It feels like it's processed in some formal way, but you still get that kind of that flavor and then sweetness.
How about we throw this out here?
Okay.
And I'm thinking out loud because of what you guys are talking through, right? Like dehydrated fruit. Like if you
Oh, yeah.
took,
I can see that.
If you took
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
of those, yeah,
Okay.
like more of like a dehydrated fruit, because
Okay.
there's nothing that's that fresh,
No,
but
no,
it definitely has that sweetness that's coming through, but it's like that.
Concentrate.
It's almost like concentrated or artificial sweetener, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely a different thing. But I couldn't tell you if it was apricot or if it was mango or if it was banana or I was expecting banana nut bread, like
Yeah.
spiced
Not
banana nut bread,
happening.
and it wasn't happening.
Yeah. There is
Yeah.
no BANANES. So
Try not to spell.
yeah. No.
Chicken.
Yep.
Banana. Chicken. Banana.
So when you say plum, to me,
Yes.
like the maplewood viscosity, I could see how plum could be related to that, and that it's a little heavy, little sweet, little kind of lazy your tongue some.
Yeah, and that's why I said, like the dried candy
Yes,
part of it,
yeah.
because it is a little bit more of like that artificial kind of candied sweet, but it's just an interesting fruit.
Yeah, I always have a problem with plums because it gets me beeline right to prune. So
Oh,
I
God,
know it's
no.
not prune.
So the 12-year has a little bit of that banana note, but it's still
very
so
mild.
much baking spice.
Yeah.
Banana isn't like banana runt.
No, it's not quite that
no.
artificial
It's- yeah,
banana.
No. But that's also because so like banana runt, like that's
Yeah.
like they're fun. Here we go.
Are you talking like plantains?
No, banana runts. Remember the runts candies?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, yeah.
I thought you meant like just smaller bananas.
Yeah.
It,
So-
doesn't, it doesn't give me that
Wow.
artificial smell that like a runt would
Yep.
give.
So is a ute.
Yeah.
There were I know ute. What's a ute?
Oh, I know what a ute is.
We
So
know.
men would put chew in between their teeth and their
Yeah.
gums.
Yeah.
I would take a banana runt
Oh.
and stick it in there, and it had all that sweetness,
Yeah.
a little bit of like bitter, like in a very positive way.
Brian, you did so many like crazy things when you were a kid.
Dude,
I love that.
I spent all my time outside.
Evidently.
All right, so
I mean, I did too, but
I
like,
spend a good chunk of my time outside.
I
I
don't
need to kick our kids outside.
I truly am a Gen X kid. Like I went out when the sun came up, and then I didn't go home until dinner time. Right? Like,
yeah. Oh, and was it your mother on the
and
front
then they
step?
kicked me back out until the lights went out,
Oh,
until the sun
yes,
went down.
Yeah.
I think I was close to that because whenever I was in my middle school, like late elementary and into middle school, we moved into a subdivision that was being developed, and so we would play King of the Hill on the piles of dirt whenever they would.
I
Yeah, what the
love
hell?
it.
So yeah, we would play King of the Hill on these 20-foot high mounds of that they had excavated for the basements for some of these houses, and so we would just play there till it went dark, and then we went home.
Yeah, and you could care less how much dirt you had in your nose, your ears, your socks.
No, it was the socks and shoes that
Yeah.
my mom was pissed about because
I
I would have to
believe
wash. She'd have to wash the socks,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, but now as an adult, like, we have no tolerance for that. Like we get a little tiny stone inside of our shoe, and we're like, I'm done. Like I'm annoyed. So this,
all right. So
Yeah.
okay, peeing the princess in bed.
yes, this nose is way different than the 10-year at the lower proof. It nose is different. The palate's different. Like this could be like for me like a different whiskey in its entirety.
I'm getting at least this tiny similar nose to the 10 to the 12 on
Yeah.
this one.
I will say though that there is definitely a taste difference. Like the
Yeah.
baking spice is not as prominent.
No, but it's still there.
There's a floral note,
Yeah.
and there's actually I can't believe there's a touch of mint.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a small, slight touch. Like it's very faint.
Yeah. And the nose doesn't nose the proof.
No. Oh, nowhere near. It doesn't even drink anywhere near the proof.
No.
Right,
Oh,
right.
God, no.
Ooh, Nick is in deep thought.
Well, he's
eyes are
thinking
going
about the mint.
left to right,
I
right
know
to
what he's
left.
doing.
Yeah. No, he's definitely thinking about the mint. And it's
Well-
almost like a floral mint. Like it's not even like the traditional mint that we've even talked about on either side. It's not spearmint. It's not
How?
wheat mint. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that I think this is actually an interesting full experience taste, from a mouthfeel standpoint, because, you get a little quick hitter of a sweetness. Mid palate, you get kind of like that, a little mint kick. You then, towards the back of the palate, I was getting a nice dark oak flavor, maybe
Yeah.
even a little like oak / molasses, combination.
Yep.
And then it goes back to almost like a leftover, almost Andes mint, leftover kind of like mint that kind of residue.
Residual.
Residual. Cool. Thank you.
So I'm getting like a little bit of tea on this thing.
Yeah, I was thinking herbal. Like it's more like that herbal where you've got
Yeah.
a lot of those
No.
flowers and those different flavors that mesh so well.
I'm just interested by the full experience off just like the first
Yeah, no,
taste.
it's got a lot going on. It really does.
Hey, so the forest could knock out a bottle without even knowing what we just did,
Absolutely.
because it noses under. So when we say underproof, it does mean underwhelming by any means. To me,
Yeah.
like some of the best whiskeys that I personally tasted, they don't taste or nose anywhere near their proof.
I mean, this is 107. It drinks 90 proof.
Yeah, absolutely.
In like a badass 90 proof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
All
that
right.
takes talent to be able to do that.
It does. It definitely takes
And
some.
I think we've mentioned that before on other podcasts.
Full disclosure, I don't want to finish a glass because I know that because I know that we have very little left.
Very little.
Dude, the 14, the nose on this
Stop.
thing is insane.
Oh, Lord.
I'm cleansing right now, so
Dude, the nose on 14 is insane.
And I wonder. So I know that there's roughly 24,000 bottles that available whether it be gift shop or put out to consumers. I wonder how many barrels that they needed in order to fill those 24,000 bottles.
At 14 years, it had to be a lot. Had to be a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
Dude.
yeah, all right. So I did.
Dude, this nose is
Yes.
insane in the membrane.
Yeah. So it's 100. So again, 120. What's the proof on this bad boy?
126.3. And it does not sniff anywhere near
No.
that kind of heat level.
No.
So
I
does
would
any?
say about to say if it does. Sorry for talking over there. I would say anywhere between like 105 to 110.
That's what I was thinking.
Does anybody
I
wonder?
don't even know that I'm getting that much ethanol. But go
Does
ahead.
anybody wonder what the 12 and the 10 year would nose at a higher proof?
I think the 10 did a little bit higher. I think the 12 was close, but not maybe a little under on the 12. But this is way under.
Yeah, like my sheer curiosity is, I wonder what the 12 year would have been at barrel proof. Same thing with the 10. I wonder what that would have been at proof wise.
I see where you're going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at barrel proof.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
All right, I'm about to dive in.
Dear gosh.
Y'all dive in, man. Like, so the color on this is like a rich, like deep amber color.
I'd say almost mahogany.
Yeah, mahogany. Yeah, I was gonna say like it reminds me kind of like one of those amber beers. Like it's got that reddish tinge. It's got some dark and depth to it.
And on the nose, it fills your entire nose.
Dude, it's like
Yeah,
caramel.
yes,
It's
yeah.
got and this actually does have the banana. Like I'm getting banana. I'm getting baking spice. I'm getting just a touch of like weird like vanilla-y but
gonna
it's
say
almost
it.
like a creamy vanilla. But I can't.
Bananas Foster and creme brulee.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Creme brulee, like a toasted.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
crackly
A little
part.
bit of a- yeah.
Yeah, the crackly part that I personally pick off with a fork.
Like pork cracklings.
Yes.
Eat that because that stuff's the
yum.
bomb diggity. Has anybody else tasted it yet?
Not yet.
No,
man.
bless
This is a
America.
nose banger, dude. Like instead of a
Yeah,
rose
about to
banger,
say,
it's a nose banger.
Oh,
we're nose bleeping this thing.
I have too, but damn.
Wait, have you tasted?
Yes.
Okay, so you talk. We're gonna drink.
No, I'm not talking. I want
You have to talk while we drink.
unbiased opinions.
Well, I mean, you can talk about the mouthfeel and things like that. I mean, you don't have to
It's
talk about actual taste.
amazing.
You don't have to talk about the actual palate or how it tastes, but talk about the mouthfeel and
It,
like
it
creaminess. or whatever.
feels incredible.
Ooh.
It like coats everything. There's really no hug, but you can taste the. I mean, you know that it's alcohol.
Dude, that's insanely smooth.
Yeah.
So not buttercream, but some
No.
sort of a cream frosting. The way it lays in your tongue, the way it kind of builds up, and then that finish is very. It's not sharp,
No.
but it's very like predominant.
First round for me, I got cinnamon.
Okay.
At least
Yeah.
on
There's definitely some.
Cinnamon. There's even a touch of mint on this one, right on the
Yeah.
front palate.
That's what I was
Yeah.
because you guys were saying it was really smooth. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cinnamon for me. So I was a little bit. I'm not saying it's like sharp cinnamon
No.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I could tell that it was.
But at 126.3, like
Yeah.
the smoothness that's coming through on this thing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then the mid palate has like very little like heat or very
Yeah.
It's
I'm
got
like
a lot of
barely
complexity.
feeling it.
It's got some floral notes that are coming through, a little bit more of the sweetness. Mm-hmm. None of these have had banana come through on the palate though.
No.
None of them.
None.
And then the baking spice on the mid palate, and then the finish is just super like light, smooth.
It's a hell yes.
Yes.
The finish.
Yes.
I mean, it really is because
Absolutely.
so look at the legs that it has.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are 3 definitive lines from the very, very top of the glass until where the whiskey's at, and they are not moving.
Nope.
They are just, what is it? Do that, do that, do that.
Ain't moving.
Yes. So this is one of the few times where you hear silence because we have
I
so
know.
many. We're not quite sure what to say, but Nick's going to go.
I'm going to throw out something weird here.
I was gonna say I cleansed my palate, so I'm gonna go back in for my second taste with a cleansed palate.
Yeah, do that while I kind of say. I mean, my second pull. As you're talking about, what kind of like what's lingering in the back of the palate. I would almost say that if you could akin this to a alcoholic Werther's Original, I was almost getting that a little bit, kind of like on that back of that palate.
See, and after I just cleansed, I'm getting that butterscotch kind of flavor, which is interesting.
I don't hate that description. I think more what I'm leaning towards is those little alcohol chocolate bottles.
Oh, the ones that we had here before.
Yeah,
that we had for Christmas, like
Yeah.
the Remy, the other
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's not a chocolate taste here, but it's
No.
like that kind of like alcohol-y, like
Yes.
Yeah. And-
texture to it.
And even though there's not chocolate, it's that creaminess
Yeah,
of that as well. I agree.
I could get that as well.
that. Yeah.
I was just thinking kind of like how that alcohol comes through on those things.
Hey, and you cleansing your palate and tasting it, I would have never done that. It's a different experience.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different whiskey again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. It's just so complex.
You've been drinking, right? Like you've went through the 10, the 12, now the 14. Like there's going to be some influence from the other two that you drank.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I went back and cleansed my mouth because I was like, let me get a fresh hit on this and just see where it comes through at.
Well, and I've cleansed my palate with you.
There's a
with
little
each
less
of them.
mint when you clean off. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the baking spice, though, dude, these things are a ton of baking spice.
I know. My kind of jam.
Where does it come from? So, like, banana can be.
It can be. Honestly,
I'm confused.
I think part of it's age, but I also think
Mine?
What do you mean? Why you're confused? I have no idea why you're confused.
Me either.
Now, I will say this one is closer to a lot of the bourbon or the single barrel strengths, the regular whiskeys.
Okay, I can understand.
Yeah.
I'm saying just closer. I'm not saying that it is, but it
It's definitely more complex.
This reminds me
those.
more of the lower proof Coy Hills.
Okay.
No, yeah, no. I've been just saying that like the 132s, 129s, and not even that, but I'm just saying from a general mouthfeel standpoint, it's very akin to those.
So let's talk about aging whiskey, right?
Okay.
So a lot of your Jack Daniel's products are in that 7 to 8 year range, right? 6, 7, 8. Like that's kind of that sweet spot for them, right? So as whiskey progresses, you have that change. You have the tannins that come in. The more you go in and out of that barrel, you're getting different lignins that attach to that, and the molecules, more oxygen going in there. You're getting more taste, things to that nature, right? I feel like darker fruit notes have a tendency to come out in 9, 10, 11-year-old distillate than 5, 6, 7-year-old distillate.
Tendencies, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, I can
Now,
see that.
I do have a question that I want to throw out there that I can't remember from our tour.
Right.
Does the mellowing process for JD happen whenever they pull out the barrels to go through the mellowing process, or does the mellowing process happen after it comes out of the still?
The charcoal filtering happens after it comes off the still before it goes into the barrel.
All right. I wanted to verify that. I just want to make sure there wasn't something from before, after that.
yeah.
Nope,
no.
the charcoal filtration happens before it enters the barrel.
Okay.
Because they run all that fresh distillate off onto the bed of charcoal
Cool. Yeah.
through those little hoses and then out.
Yeah.
So one thing that I wonder if what could affect this is because that mellowing process, they will sit there and use that for a long period of time, and then they
Yeah.
will switch out to something fresh.
Right.
And I'm wondering if fresh, mellowing of those things versus something that is towards the end, like the mellowing has been
So
very seasoned.
you're talking more, the more newer charcoal versus the stuff that's been poured on.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to do something crazy.
Oh, God.
No, don't you dare add water.
You're mixing.
No. I'm going to put all three of them together.
That's what I was thinking about too. I was scary.
All right, you go after it. So something to
And I'll take a sip and then I'll pass my glass around. But I know which one I prefer the best the way they are right now. I don't need to go back. I don't need to do that. So I'm going to pour mine together.
Yeah. So for science, he's going to make a.
It's about 1/8 of an ounce of each one of these. I'm going to make a Jack Daniel's Suicide, the 10, 12, and 14 Suicide.
You like the movie with Pauly Shore, Meet the Parents?
Yeah, I mean,
where he's in the 7-Eleven White Hen.
Or how about I just
After
I just
baseball.
got off the baseball diamond as a 10-year-old boy, and you go in there and you're like,
We want suicide.
Big Red,
Oh, no.
Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, whatever.
Well, no, we didn't get to do it because we always had to go to the concession stand to get our free thing. We always had to tell them suicide.
Yeah, so it's funny. Like I always just went in and got my own because my mom and dad actually helped run the ballpark. So I literally would go in right after the games and just go pop, 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 pop. And I would always put a little bit more Dr. Pepper.
I love to put Surge.
I'm about to say,
Oh,
Yes.
well, you had the cheap one. We had Mellow Yellow.
I'm not gonna lie.
I did mellow yellow too.
I'm not gonna lie. The nose on this thing is, it's got some stuff going on.
So I did a little bit more of a science, even more than that, and I put what I had left, just a single drop of water in, and it's definitely a little different. The baking spices in the first one and the last one almost died down a little, and in the middle one it actually goes up a bit. It was a unique experience.
So something that Jack Daniels does is, so all of these, they age in the upper ricks.
Okay, I wondered about that.
Yeah. And then as they hit a certain profile, they're then actually moving the barrels themselves into a lower rick.
Okay.
To slow down it doesn't say that, but to slow down the influence
Right.
of hot summers and cold winters.
That's a lot of production
Dude,
that you have to do.
That's a lot of work. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's commitment.
My wife's done.
Yep.
She tried she tried the suicide.
That was good. That was really good.
So one of the many things I love about whiskey, the fact that each of these has the identical mash bill.
Yeah.
They are so completely
Different.
different, but also connected.
Right.
Yeah, and Scott's
I
shaking
mean,
his head.
So I took 2 hits. Like I took one, then cleared my palate with water, and then went back in and hit it again. Sorry, Brian, I didn't leave you very much.
I know. It's like we're at a Chinese buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the crabs were just put out.
No. It's like dim sum, and they've taken most everything, and they left you the leftovers.
Yeah. It would have been, for me, it would have been the General O's.
Alrighty. I'm waiting.
Oh, yeah. It's like
I'm
like
waiting.
like
I mean,
bated breath for reaction.
it's pretty good. It's pretty
There it
damn
is.
good. It's pretty damn good.
I know.
Yeah.
Chris Fletcher, have you ever?
Really?
Have you ever taken
Really?
half an ounce of your most recent 10,
12, and 14
year, blended them, and then drank it?
Yeah.
Please report back.
Yeah.
Chime in. We would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Because yes, the label could only say 10-year because it's the youngest, which is in the batch.
Yeah.
It's freaking delicious.
That is delicious.
Magically delicious.
Baking spice, fruit. It's got a little bit of that rye spice. It's got.
It's
some-
got all of those
Yeah.
flavors just all combined
so
and just smooth. Oh my gosh, yeah.
So smooth. Now, granted, it's probably somewhere around that 108 range, 109 range,
That is-
probably.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, dude, that's insane.
That's lip smacking.
Yep. And according to the website, they're 14-year. Sweet bakery spices with layers of oaken flavors of cinnamon, creamy butterscotch, balanced with rich leather.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I could.
don't know
get
if we
that.
got much of the leather, but
Maybe a tiny on the.
I mean,
don't
yeah,
know.
you could definitely. The mouthfeel is where I would say that, yeah,
The
the
leather
leather's
came
coming
into
through.
play, yeah.
Because like leather, it goes a little dry. Like that could that could be leather.
Yeah.
Yep. All
I
right.
don't know, but this mail call was incredible.
Yeah. Thank you. What's her name again?
Serena.
Serena, we love you.
All right.
Adore.
Let's pick a favorite. 1, 2, 3. Which ones
3.
do you like the best? You gotta go. You gotta rate them. 1, 2, 3. Which one's best? Which one's second best? Which one's third best?
3, 1, 2.
3, 1. Oh, Barbara was quick.
Yeah, identical.
Okay.
I'm 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Man, I'm so. Honestly, I'm between 3, 1, 2 and 3, 2, 1. 3 is definitely the best one.
Absolutely.
That 14 year is like, it's money. Like it really is really really good.
So I
I'll be
think
honest with you. I think I'm gonna go with Barbara and Brian, and this hardly ever happens, Nick.
That's
I know.
probably fine.
And
We
the only
know.
reason I'm saying that is because like the 12 year, like it was just a little bit more mint on the mid palate than I would have wanted. But like even one had more mint than I thought I wanted. But then after drinking 12, the 14 year had none of that.
Oh, I
Right.
know.
Like, it was crazy.
Yes.
That 14, 100%.
Dude, I don't know.
Yep.
But I think I think we all like though the suicide version.
Yeah, the suicide version was delicious. I'm not saying it's better than any of the other ones. It's probably not better than the 14,
No.
Yeah.
but it might be better than the other two by themselves. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I also think because we created that.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of ownership in it.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly that's exactly what got me over the guideline there. That's like saying I
No.
like my kids better than somebody else because I
Yeah.
made them.
Well, that's there are those parents.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
yeah. There might be people that believe that their kids are better than other kids, but
Hey,
it is what it is.
can we keep on drinking these, or are you going to end this?
We're gonna have to end this episode. But look on the bright side. We can always try something later. That's the good thing about the show.
Hey, we have the up next week. We have the OG 10 and 12.
Yeah. Well, I think didn't he say like batch 2 of the 10
Yes,
year,
batch
and then
12,
like,
yeah.
I think
and
one-
then batch 1 or 2 of the 12 year, batch 1 of the 12 year. I think maybe.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
blind him.
You want to blind him?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Shit, I don't care. I'm crazy.
Word.
All right. Anyway, that's our episode of Bird Barrel Talk. If you want to find us on the Facebook, the Instagram, or the X, make sure you also hit the subscribe button. That way you get our episodes as soon as they hit on Sunday morning. Email us any questions to birdbarreltalk@gmail.com. This is Scott the Brox and B. Phil signing off. Peace.
Prost.
To infinity.